What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 182 of the Bench Time Podcast with Todd and Brett Wiley of Wiley's Scale Modeling. You know what I was thinking? I'm sad now.
What?
Because
Why would you be sad? It's Christmas time.
Well, I don't really get excited for Christmas anymore.
I do.
I mean, it's great.
I'm going to again.
I mean, it's great. Let me just say, it's great.
All right.
No, I don't know.
You should be excited as hell. You have 2 kids.
No, that's not what I meant. I'm excited for them, but it's just like the whole lead up to it, and like, it's like.
You know what? Fuck that. Sorry.
It's all right. We're 35 seconds in, and we've already dropped an F-bomb.
I'm ready for it.
I shouldn't say it that way. No.
You know what? I'm tired of every year saying the same stuff over and over again, saying, the hype up and blah, blah, blah. You know what? So what? We work hard all year long. Let's enjoy it with our families.
Actually, this is the first time. This is the first time ever that I've taken off the whole week between Christmas and New Year's. So.
And that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know? And it is a lot of hype and commercialism and all that. But so whatever. We can't change that.
You can ignore it.
We might as well enjoy it. Right.
You can just ignore the commercialism of it.
Right, exactly.
But that's not why I'm sad. That's not why I'm sad, though. You kind of hijacked it.
So why are you sad? Sorry.
I'm sad because my favorite time of year is ending.
All right.
College football.
Me too.
And we're going to get the sports stuff out of the way first, and then we're going to do the...
All right.
I don't know. I have one sports statement, and then we're going to...
I really don't have anything for sports right now.
I got one quick one.
Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier, and you said you knew you wouldn't agree with me.
Okay.
Or I wouldn't agree with you. But I'm happy that Austin Stogner is transferring back to Oklahoma.
Okay.
And
a lot of people here aren't going to really know or care about Austin Stogner. But
I know, but the transfer portal... Let me just give you my opinion of it real quick. And then this will be the only sports for this little 5-minute clip, and then we'll talk about modeling.
Okay.
By the way, stock up on Cheez-Its, Dad, because we're going to be eating some Cheez-Its during that bowl game.
No problem, I can do that.
Maybe I'll make Cheez-It.
They're not really they're actually a kind of an inexpensive
Maybe
snack,
I'll make something crazy like Cheez-It wings or Cheez-It crusted something. Cheez-It crust.
As the rest of you can guess, if you don't follow the college, Oklahoma Sooners had a horrible 6-6 record.
They made it to the Cheez-It Bowl. Woo!
We're going to the Cheez-It Bowl.
Bring me on some Cheez-Its, baby.
Against Florida State. Anyhow, where Brett's going to go with this is there's a player last year that transferred when things were bad at the university with the coaching change and everything else. He's a tight end, and he transferred out of Oklahoma.
He's a great tight end.
Oklahoma in the transfer pool. What's that?
He's a good tight end.
He's a good tight end, yes. And he transferred out and went to where he thought would be greener pastures at South Carolina, University of South Carolina. And
the real USC. The real USC.
The real USC, correct. And then he went there, and now the season ends, and he goes back into the transfer portal, and and Oklahoma picks him back up again. I guess he wanted to come to Oklahoma.
Wouldn't you not, though?
Well, of course. Who wouldn't want to come there? But the fact that what bothers me the most is it wasn't good enough for him when the chips were down, and now it's okay. He wants to come back.
He followed He followed his buddy,
and I like him.
He followed his buddy, which was Spencer Rattler.
Right.
And played there. And I think, here's my philosophy on this. And we won't spend more than a couple minutes on this. These schools and the way the coaches treat the universities and the way the coaches treat the job now is different. So if the coaches can, on a whim, just get up and do whatever they want, why can't the players?
Well, because the players are students.
Right, but if I was a student at any school, I could transfer wherever I wanted multiple times.
But it's a non-paying job. And the other ones are, the coach's job is a paying job.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, here's my whole thing. I'm happy he's back in Oklahoma. I'm not gonna.
I am too. I guess I'm fine with that.
My thing is, if he's,
I don't like the way the transfer portal is used. Maybe you should be given one chance to transfer to another school, and after that,
I mean, that would cause kids to think about it.
Right, and you can go to as many schools as you'd like, okay, and transfer as much as you want. Any student can do that.
You lose your eligibility after your first transfer.
That's right. A student athlete can do one transfer. That's it. He can't just keep jumping from team to team to team. And, in this case, team to team and then back to team.
So my thing is, this kid's 21.
Yep.
Maybe he realized.
Probably not.
Maybe he realized.
Probably 19.
I think he's a junior.
Yeah, he is a junior. I guess
so
he's probably 20.
He's 21, 20. But maybe he realized, hey, I made a mistake. I really like what Venables is doing. I like the plan. I should have stayed. I regret it. I want to come back and play in front of my old crowd. I miss the school. I miss my friends there. I want to come back.
Okay, and
how do you fault? And you can't pin these decisions on 20-year-olds.
Right, and I understand.
I made some dumb choices at 20. You made some dumb choices at 20, I'm sure.
I made a dumb choice at 25.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
I'm just messing with you.
But that was the same age I had my first daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Anyways, but yeah, I don't think you can hold it against these kids. They're young. They want to, they make decisions that are, they realize they regretted later, and you never know. I think if they didn't leave on bad terms and shit on the college they left, I think they should be able to come back.
Yep.
So, hey, whatever.
Okay.
It's not my choice.
Done with that.
Not my choice to make. On. Get some Cheez-Its, baby. We're going to the Cheez-It Bowl.
And we're going to watch. It's bowl season. We're going to have a lot of fun with bowl season. Okay, so that's moving on to modeling.
All right, let's do some modeling talk. We got all that sports crap out of the way. Oh, also, one last sports statistic that's fun. It's a fun one.
All right.
Alexander Ovechkin is 99 goals away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's record.
That is a good one.
He's one Wayne Gretzky away.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Wayne Gretzky's number.
He's Wayne Gretzky's number away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's record.
Wayne Gretzky's record, yep.
And he's going to do it. He's going to do it.
Yeah. I agree.
So, I
think he will.
Are you still up for like during that week between New Year's and Christmas?
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
All right.
We'll talk about that.
Anyways, cool. All right, let's move on to some modeling talk. I got a couple updates. I didn't really do much on my buildings, but I was working on some rocks. We can touch on that. I know you got a lot done with the I
got all kinds of crazy stuff done here.
Dude, your kit is like your kit. Your whole little diorama thing you're making that you're going to plug into the layout here.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm distracted by this lady announcing the awards on ESPN. I got it on my TV. They have this lady's wearing like the shortest tight silver dress, and I'm not trying to be gross, but like I got to turn the TV off. Anyways. My bad, guys. What was I talking about? I lost my train of thought.
Diorama.
Yeah, your diorama. You ever seen that show Cake Boss?
Yeah.
So, when you see the cross section of all the foam and everything that you're putting on your diorama, it reminds me of Cake Boss because it's like all these layers of foam cake stacked up together.
I didn't coordinate that very well, did I?
No.
Pink. It's green. It's pink. It's green. It's pink. There's 1 inch of green, 2-inch piece of pink foam. 3 1-inch pieces of green foam, 2 2-inch pieces of pink foam, and then the top 2 layers are 2 inches of green foam. two 1-inch pieces of green foam.
It's
the most goofy thing. It's like a Neapolitan ice cream.
Yeah, it's like Neapolitan. Yeah. It's like mint chocolate chip. It's like mint.
What's gonna happen there? Yeah.
It's like mint and strawberry ice cream mixed together.
Right. Once I complete this, okay, and I put the and I get this where I'm at. Well, I'll get to that point. But once I get this done, and I get the things needed to be done, then on the sides, that pink, I went out and I bought foam board, black foam board. Okay, so what I'm going to do with the black foam board is I'm going to cut it to the exact contour of the of each side, and then glue it on. So all you'll see is black and then the contour.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? It'll cover all that pink and green foam. Now, on the one side, on the front, it will not have that because it's going to go flush up against the layout. So it'll blend right in the layout. Then we'll cover it as lines. Well, it really isn't even going to be a line on the front because it matches up with a bridge that goes over the water and a road that goes down the side. So it's not really even going to need much line work on that. The other side, on when you're facing the front of it, okay, where the waterfall will be, and all the rock on the front. On the front side, when you're facing it, on the right side of it, there's going to be more layout there that's going to match that, and it's going to be high like that, and then come downhill towards the front of the layout.
Okay.
So on that side, I'm not going to cover that either because it's going to have scenery that's going to match up to that.
Right.
As well. But for photographic purposes, when I'm done, for photographic purposes.
I never met a photographic porpoise.
Well, most of them are photogenic. But anyhow.
Most of them are afraid of photos, I think.
Actually, they're kind of ugly. When you think of a porpoise, it's kind of ugly. It's not like a dolphin. A dolphin's a pretty animal.
I want to look up what a porpoise looks like.
A porpoise has kind of got more of a bottly nose and kind of a funky front head thing going on there. It's like it got hit in the head with a hammer. It's got the beanie in the front. It's weird. Look at the porpoise.
I'm looking it up. You know what? It's cute.
It's not like a dolphin.
It's a multi-porpoise animal. Ah! Oh my god! I just spit laughing.
That was the corniest shit we've ever done on this.
Oh my god! Oh shit!
Anyways,
you know what? It's like a dolphin ran really. It's like a dolphin swam full speed into a boat in the side of a Freightliner.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like this flat face thing.
Oh my god.
So anyhow,
I'm sorry for the bad joke, guys.
It's good. It served its purpose. So,
well, this episode quickly went south.
So we're going to. Anyways, that side I'm not going to put it up. But when I take photos of this thing before I install it, I'm probably gonna take it out in the natural sunlight and then.
I can't stop. I'm looking at pictures of porpoises and I can't. I gotta shut my screen down because I can't look at porpoises now.
Oh boy.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So anyhow, I'm gonna put that that facade on the side of all of it, just to on all four sides, just for the photograph part, and then after that, I'll peel those two sides or pop those two sides off. I'm gonna maybe Velcro them on or something. I don't want to glue it because I don't want to peel it all off and screw it up. But we're going to we're going to cover that just for the photographs and such. And then after that, we'll leave those two. We'll take those sides off and match it up with the rest of the layout. However, on the back side and the right and the left side, those sides are going to be covered with the black board all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't see. And when we finish the other half of that section, it's going to butt up against it. The one that's not we didn't even start yet. We will put on the back side of that. We will also put blackboard as well. And we're going to do that with the rest of the layout too, all the way down the side. Once we're done, we're going to put that. I'm going to get that because it's cheap as hell. And I'm just going to run it all around the layout to match up our contours of our scenery. So the landscape.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's coming along. I mean, it's been busy, man. I mean, you gotta keep in mind when I started this shit in the spring, and I'm still working it. I mean, when you're talking about time built with the structures and those types of things, I mean, the structure part, obviously, that took time, and then now I've been working with this diorama itself through the summer, and now into this. The summer, not quite as much until late summer, but then I started, doing the stones and rocks, and it's a little bit at a time, and there's a lot. I'm getting done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
you're getting done.
I am. I'm getting to the point where I'm going, you know what? It's starting to get done.
Yeah.
And I have, like, I'm starting to put. I got the roads down. Rocks are obviously done. I'm putting trees and bushes and shrubs and grass and all that stuff into it. And then, of course, made some trees that I bought. I bought these funky looking wire brush trees that must have been 1,000,000 years old down at Tommy Gilbert's. He had a bunch of them there in his shop, and they look like Charlie Brown. They all look like Charlie Brown's Christmas trees. They must have been ancient, and they were losing all their flocking on them, right?
Yeah.
So I bought them at first because they looked like they were just dead trees, dying trees, and or trees that, not doing too well, and mix them in with the other pines because they're pines. And then I got to looking at a video that had Hal Reynolds on it. It was done by Doug. Well, I think it was Dave Frary, Doug, and Hal Reynolds on the video on YouTube, and about easy scenery. And they had Hal on there making this wire brush pine trees, and then I believe it was him, and he said something on there on the video about using you can use static grass on those, or maybe it was another person's video on the wire brush trees. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try the static grass and flock it on with that stuff from Woodland Scenics in the stuff in the plastic shaker tub.
Yeah, it's in like the Parmesan cheese containers.
Right. Those.
Yeah.
Now that stuff in there, they make longer stuff, okay, in smaller bags.
Mm-hmm.
But the stuff in those containers, that's only like 2 and 3 millimeter tiny shit.
Right.
And when you put it down, it looks like a freaking golf course, because it's
Right.
too fine.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's too fine. It looks too perfect. It looks like a perfect yard. It doesn't work for me. Speaking of
perfect yards, I have an idea. I've been thinking about it for a little while. And this would be perfect for that. Do you think somewhere on our layout we could carve in a little baseball or football field?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we could do that.
I think it'd be cool. Not even like we were just talking about football. It's not even for that. But like, what little town wouldn't have somewhere like a little sandlot style baseball field?
I think we have to go baseball field. Otherwise, you're talking about a 100-yard football field.
Well, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But it'd be cool to put in like a little. It wouldn't even take much work. We have the dirt. We have that fine grass. Like, let's put in like a little sandlot style baseball field, like tucked in between a couple buildings. I have the perfect spot for it now that I ripped out that area and put some rocks down. Anyways, I'll talk about that next. But wouldn't it be cool to put in like a little backyard baseball field in?
Yeah, with like some old chain link fence around it.
I got the perfect material for chain link fence.
Perfect.
Yeah, I have an old window screen that I used to cut up and make fencing out of.
We did that before one time.
Yeah. All right, back on track. I think we got to put a tiny little baseball field in somewhere. Actually, near one of the little churches we have would be cool. Not your big cathedral church, the 2 little smaller churches that I have.
Right.
Because, there's around, even in my area here, some of the old smaller churches that are rural have little baseball fields off the side of them.
Yeah. I grew up on a baseball field behind a church.
That's where That's not where he lived, guys. He spent a lot of time there.
I grew up playing ball. I grew up playing baseball.
No, I know.
Anyhow, so these trees, I bought them and I tried to flock them with the. I used this stuff on it, thinking, you know what, they might be short enough to make really cool looking pine needles.
Right.
And sure enough, I sprayed them with cheap ass hairspray, that Aquanet stuff. By the way, that stuff is awesome.
It's recommended by anyone that still has a perm and modelers.
Yeah. Right. And so I sprayed it with the Aquanet. And then,
hey, you're contributing to the hole in the ozone layer.
Whatever. And we're not even going there. So then I ran a static grass applicator on it, and it stuck on real nice and looked like real pine needles. And I'm looking at them right now. They're awesome. So then I got into that. I got into it, right? So I'm like, and then I sprinkle a little bit on, and I sprayed it again and turn them upside down and sprinkled it the other direction with a static grass applicator, so I get some underneath the branches, and it turned out real good. And then I was happy. I had maybe a dozen of them that I bought from him up there, and he had like hundreds of them for sale up there. So I got a great idea. I'm going up and buying a whole pile of that stuff from him, so I don't have to make the wire brush things, because that looked like a big pain in my butt.
Yeah.
And then I went and got the wire. I got these trees from him that were like ancient from somebody else's old layout.
You said they were breaking.
And yeah, they weren't breaking.
Oh yeah.
They weren't breaking. They were made of wire. They weren't breaking. They were losing their shit on the branches. So the old flocking.
They were
whatever
naked.
They used. But it was like that flocking crap that they put on.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I don't know,
It's like
the old flocking.
It's the default looking woodland scenics stuff. The old.
It's not even that. It's not even that. It's older than that. It's like sawdusty shit. Anyhow, whatever. It's like stuff they used to use years ago for flocking.
I know what you're talking about.
Back before you were born.
It's the same stuff that they put on that giant mat you could roll out.
Yeah, that kind of stuff, like sawdust or whatever. Hey, whatever it was, it's all falling off. So this is perfect. I went out and got like 115 of these trees, and brought them back. And I had to do them all, but they're going to be for our layout, so we can put them all over the place. They look real.
Yeah.
So now that I did it this way. So anyways, I've been doing those with the trees, mixing them in with some already made trees that I had bought, and I had some woodland scenic conifers that I'm going to in a kit that I had to assemble and things like that. I don't know if I'm going to put any on this one, but I'll have them for our layout. So I've been working with all that, the grass, the bushes, all that stuff, and it's really coming to life pretty much, liking that. On the backside now, I'm starting to work with the water, and there'll be more on that coming up. The water, the stream going underneath. Remember I painted it green and sent you a picture?
Yeah, you said you weren't very, you were like, about it.
Yeah.
The color.
What I did, well, it's gone now. So what I did was I repainted it in the base of the bottom. This is the bed of the river that's going in the backside, right? And I painted that base of that river. I was watching a Kathy Millett video on hers of a river that she did next to a mill. It was awesome, beautiful, by the way. And she did some really cool stuff with it. But she painted the bottom of hers this raw umber color, okay, like a shady, hazy brown color.
Yeah.
And so I did that because it's going to make it look like an actual stream. When you look at a stream around here, you see the stream, it looks brown. I mean, the Yellow Breeches, even though it's called the Yellow Breeches, but all these streams and rivers and stuff around here, the water looks brown, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Hers looked like ours out here. So I was like, I'm doing it like that, Now, obviously, the river on where this is going to connect to, on the other one, is like a greenish color. But it's a slow-moving area. That's why it's greenish, right? It's slowed down through there. It's like still. It's not rushing water through my thing, except for on that one side where the waterfall is. But then it's not green until it settles down again. So what I'm doing here on the front side of the river, I painted a bed of that where it ends off the waterfall in the brown, in the
Did you know that
raw umber.
Did you know the
and
yellow
then blended green into it?
Did you know that the Yellow Breeches Creek it's also known as the Kalapatskink Creek?
No, I did not know that.
Now you know.
Or care.
Sorry, go ahead.
So anyways, so I'm going to do something different with the rivers. The rushing whitewater stuff.
Yeah.
And off the waterfalls on her video, she used something called Woodland Scenics soft flake snow. So I went down to the station in New Cumberland
That's
2
still
days
open?
ago. Yep.
Dang.
And I bought Woodland Scenics soft.
Is it still the same?
Snow. Yes.
Okay.
And that's all I'm saying about it.
That's all I have. Though you've answered every question I have about it. That's it.
It's not a topic for fine scale modeling, and I'm done with that.
That's all you have to say. No.
So next, they have Woodland Scenic products. Anyhow, so I bought it because I didn't want to drive all the way down the mainline hobby, and it closes at 5, and I get out of work at 3:30. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to go down there. Anyhow, I got this. So I got this stuff because Kathy used it on her video. And I told her I'm going to do this, by the way. I wrote to her, and she got back with me as well, and said she's excited to see this thing all finished. But the waterfalls that she did, she mixed it with a glue mix and water, and mixed this snow into a little dish cup, and then spread it out, and it looks like foam. You ever see her water thing she did with the boats?
Yes.
Okay, this is how she did it. Okay, so I went and got the stuff, and I'm gonna make my waterfalls look like that. So I'm gonna try and make them look like that. I'm not saying I'm gonna make it look like that until I do it. I'm gonna practice it on something else.
That's a tall statement, man.
That's right. So I'm gonna practice it on something off my thing to make sure it works. I'm not just throwing this shit on there, you know. And my luck, my skill won't be as good as hers, and I'm like, you know, so I don't want to ruin this thing. So I'm going to practice it, and then I'm going to try it onto the. If it goes good, I'm going to try it onto this. But I'm looking forward to doing it because if you get a chance and go look at her rubber river, she made a river out of rubber material. It's kind of like the. What do you call that? Like resin. I'm going to use resin.
Yeah.
But she used some kind of rubber river that she made with some kind of rubber material for her water. It's clear.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely beautiful. I'll get the same result with the resin. But when you get a chance, go check out that video, Brett, or anybody else, and look at it. It's next to a stone mill, and it's absolutely gorgeous what she's done with it. And that's what I'm going for here off these waterfalls. So hopefully I'll be able to pull that off. So I'm getting to that point. And then all the rest I have to do will be your little details, like you know, metal castings and vehicles and people. And then I'll be done.
That's the tedious stuff, but it's fun because you're starting to add a story.
It goes quick.
Yeah.
You know?
I painted
Just
some
like
people
this.
the other night, by the way.
Huh?
I painted
I saw that.
Well, I did the one that I sent you the picture of. It's like a guy running down the street with his tie flapping around his coat.
Yeah.
But then I did a lady with a kid like crossing the street, and I did a couple other like just generic people that you could stick anywhere.
Yeah, that's cool.
We need to find some.
I like doing the people. I have to get back into it.
I love when I painted. I think I did.
For this.
I did 4 people. It was 3 sets, but the one set had 2 people holding hands, and doing those the other night. It was about a week ago or so. Painting those people was fun because like. I don't know, man. Like, you take those prizer figures and they're gray and they're boring, but when you paint them up, even though we're not going into too much detail, like you're bringing them to life a little bit.
Yeah, I love working with them.
I love painting people.
Yeah, they're fun. Me too.
And a couple of people commented on the person that I posted that I painted. And we're like debating what the manufacturer was. There was a couple of different suggestions. They were prizer figures. Almost all of ours are prizer figures, except for those ones.
I bought like 500 prizer figures.
You bought enough for the layout, but
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
there were some people on there debating what they were, and they're all. If you see me posting a painted person, it's a prize or figure. So
I don't know if I'm gonna paint. I don't know if I'm gonna paint the ones that had like the German Oompa band people.
I was just gonna say we have some weird like. Some of them are like
they
like
come with it. You don't really get to it.
If we were gonna put an Oktoberfest on it, we'd have plenty of people for that. but other than that, I'd say probably 80 or 90% of them are just common day. You can put them anywhere,
right.
And the other 10% are like, I don't think that fits our American style layout.
Right.
I mean, we should probably still find one of those like one of those people and put them out in front of like one of the bars just as a funny gag. But
oh, and for one of our listeners, Lynn, I will be using finally the sagebrush that you sent me. We're going to work. I'm going to try and make a tree or two with that for this diorama, and you'll be happy to know that. I'm also going to use a piece of that as a piece of deadfall in the river.
I used some of it as deadfall on one of the hillsides I made.
Yep. So, but I plan to make some trees out of it. I'm going to venture into that finally. Look, we do appreciate that you sent it to us, and I have a big bag full of it here. But we haven't been to that point yet in our modeling.
Well, now we are.
Where we've been adding trees, and now we're to the point where we're about ready to start adding trees and foliage and scenery, bushes, that type of thing, not just to this what I'm building, but to our layout. And we're at that point where we can do that now.
Speaking of, I have, can I talk about my rocks?
Yes, let's get to it.
All right.
Enough of my stuff for now.
Yeah, that's fine. So, my rocks that I did, we have a section that lies across the tracks from the terminal kit that I did that it was weird. You know what I'm talking about. It had a couple different step downs. It was like a weird stepped area. But because the steps were so weird with the scenery, the underlying foam that we put down, we really couldn't figure out what to do with it. So I actually just cut it all out and put a ton of rocks in. And I mean, I'm going to cover a lot of the tops of the rock you see with dirt and greenery, like some grass. But I'm going to turn it into just like basically, I don't know what you'd call it, like a little cove or gully that you would have where they really couldn't develop it because they hit bedrock and they dug it out and they left it there.
Yeah.
You see a lot of that in the Northeast where a sharp decline in a hill is exposed over years and years of development or just weathering, not weathering, but erosion, where these big rocky hillsides are exposed. So I'm just going to leave it that way. And actually, I'm going to put a drain pipe out the side of the top of the one steeper part.
Right.
And have it be use your imagination. It would be like city runoff that they just piped into this little, cove that they couldn't really work with, and it's just going to be city runoff. I'll put a little water trickle down through it, but almost like where the storm drains in a city infrastructure would just drain into that basin then.
Yeah.
So
that'd be cool.
I'll do that. I think beside the tracks, I'm going to add a little bit of hillside scenery and put a little water pond / spillway out in there.
The track.
What's that?
You said tracks like we have plural.
Yeah, well, we have the thing that cuts through the center.
I'm just
I know. But the part that cuts through the center there, the figure 8 part of it, will be, I'll put a little pond or something beside it so the storm water would drain out into a spillway or not a spillway, but like a retention pond kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
So it'll fill that area, but then I think that's where my baseball field could go.
Yeah.
So, but I picked up more plaster Paris. By the way, Home Depot and Lowe's, you can't get the giant plastic tub of plaster Paris around our area.
Yeah.
I could not find it for the life of me.
Oh, I told you what to get. You go to Hobby Lobby.
Okay, but I had a Lowe's gift card.
Oh, okay. Well, it comes now. Well, you go ahead.
Are you talking about Sculptamold?
Nope. I had to order Scott the mold online because nobody has it in their stores. Hobby Lobby, Michaels,
Yeah.
Joanne.
I remember
Fabrics.
this
We ordered
discussion.
it from Joanne Fabrics online.
I remember this discussion a little bit ago. You had found a product at Hobby Lobby that was comparable.
It is. It's a plaster. It's in their plaster section. It's called Perfect Plaster or something like that. It's right down here. Let me grab the bag.
How much was it?
It's $8, and it comes with. Get this. How many pounds is what you bought?
I bought two 2-pound containers.
How much was a 2-pound container?
Well, if I had not used my gift card, my out-of-pocket cost would have been $17.
Okay, this is the hell
$17 for 4 pounds.
8 pounds for $8, and it's awesome.
So you're getting $1 per pound. If I had paid cash out of pocket and didn't have my Lowe's gift card, it would have been what like over.
I'm done with it.
It would have been like it'd have been like $4.50 a pound.
You could have just came over and picked it up because I'm finished with it.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? Whatever.
I have half a bag of Scott.
I didn't pay for it outright. I had a gift card. It was I had won a gift card in a contest. It was a Lowe's gift card.
Right. I get it.
So I went and got 2 pounds.
So what did you end up getting? A DAP?
I got the DAP, but they only sell it in the milk carton containers now.
Isn't that ridiculous?
I cannot. I even asked her. I was like, last time I bought this, I bought it in a tub, and she goes, "Oh yeah."
Check your email.
She goes,
"Check your email." Stephen Hayward.
I know he sent it today. I saw it.
I sent that today. I replied back to him. You're on that.
Yeah.
He sent it back. He sent it a couple days back or a week ago.
Yeah.
Anyways, he sent a thing about plaster and has a link on there for like 25 pounds of plaster for a really good price.
Yeah.
Now, here's the downside. What the shit am I going to do with 25 pounds of plaster?
Maybe if we were building the Rocky Mountains.
Well, you'll see the photos that are on there. You see how much plaster.
I mean, he obviously no. Now, for our listeners, Steven probably needed 50 pounds.
Yeah. It was a lot of. He has a lot of layout. So.
Yeah, maybe we should email Steven and see if we.
And it's good. What he did was awesome.
We should email Steven back and see if he doesn't mind if we share those pictures because they were incredible.
Well, yeah, maybe that might not be a bad idea. And then also, you can do that. I wrote to him today.
We should get him back on.
Huh?
We should get him back on.
We can, yeah.
Remember that first time we interviewed?
Regardless, maybe share that link for other people.
I will. I'll put that link on here.
Yeah.
The link will be in the show description or on our website as well.
Cool beans.
Dude, as a side note, remember when I want to get back into my rocks real quick. Remember when we had Steven on the first time?
Yeah.
And he was our first guest?
Uh-huh.
And we had to redo the entire episode.
Oh, yeah.
He was the most patient man I've ever met.
He was.
Thank God. Because Steven, you're a saint.
Definitely patient with us.
Steven was a saint that weekend.
Yep. Yeah, that one there, we had to do it 2 times. We were supposed to, by the way, have some guests on today or this last week. One we've been having a hard time matching up with. He's in the UK,
and he's having a baby,
and we will get with him. And and then we got busy too, and so I didn't do a real good job of coordinating it with him.
Well,
we will have him on. Some of you already know who this is, but I'm not giving names out.
A lot of life things have gotten in the way. He's got a lot going on his plate,
Right.
So.
Right.
Completely understandable.
He was more than willing this weekend, and I had that messed up. But, and then we're also working. I'm waiting to hear back from another person who we'd like to get on the show as well. And we have just not been able to get a hold of each other communication-wise. It's tough this time of year. We've been through this before.
It's the worst time of year to do. Guests.
Yeah, people got shit going on with Christmas and everything else, and
I get it. It's 100% understandable.
So we'll have our guests on. I got a bunch of people that you haven't had or seen before.
I know. Well, hey,
and working on.
We got a lot coming, but also we need to get Steven back on.
Yeah, well, back to your rocks.
So the rocks, I did them. You had asked me if I wanted to get if I wanted to use your molds. And it's
Yeah.
not a knock on the molds at all.
Yeah, I love them because they look amazing.
They do. I'm not knocking the molds at all. They're great.
Okay.
But
You like making your own.
I like taking a popsicle stick and just, first of all, I mix it so it's like that perfect consistency. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not like Play-Doh, but it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like it gets to a certain point where you're like, all right, it's got to go now, right now.
Yeah.
And if you wait,
well, they're all like that.
If you wait 15 seconds, you're screwed.
Yep.
But so there's
I
a little
was having that with some touch-up spots and some.
There's a little bit of
areas I carved myself.
There's a little bit of an anxiety buildup because you're like, not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. Now, right now, it's gotta go on, or else.
And you gotta go, and,
right.
And you carve it and try to get. And then when you get it where you want it, then you have to go carve it with something sharper, and then it's like tougher. Well,
I started. So let me tell you about that. That's what I want to talk about. So I first put it on with I got the big popsicle sticks. The kind like a tongue depressor size.
Mm-hmm.
So I use that first to mix it and glop it on. Just throw big old blobs of it down, and then I take a smaller popsicle stick and start to form the basic rock shapes out.
Yeah.
Your traditional normal popsicle stick. The ones that would have the jokes on them when you get the good humor ones.
Sure.
And then once it starts to become, when you hit that point, because it starts to get like crumbly and like you get these little like plaster balls where they like, you know what I'm talking about. It gets like, it starts to get hard to move and it kind of crumbles.
Yeah.
Once it gets to that point, I walk away for like 15 minutes and then I come back with a X-Acto knife.
Okay.
And the X-Acto knife with a new blade is just sharp enough to carve it through and get those nice edges that you like.
Yeah.
Without making that crumbling,
Right.
And then I work quick with the X-Acto knife and then create some faces and sharp edges, and then that's it. I walk away. Let it dry overnight, and then this time I came back, and sometimes I'll just paint them gray.
Yeah.
I've done them both ways, and they both turn out. In fact, it's hard to tell which ones I've done which way, but I'll paint them gray, and then come back with a sponge and do all the highlights and everything. Basically dry sponging it.
Mm-hmm.
But this time I put India ink wash down as a base.
Oh.
And then I put like 4 coat. I would do it, let it dry for 20 minutes or so, come back, do it again. I did it 4 times. And now I'm going to come back through with just some lighter grays and then a couple really dry sponging some white highlights on the edges. So I have the grays.
It's always good to add just a touch.
You have to put white on.
Slight touch of brown in there.
Oh, well, no.
Not a lot.
Well, no.
Very
My thing I do with brown later, before I put any dirt or scenery down.
Uh-huh.
I go back through with where is it? It's an AK product. Hang on. I have it right here. It's called Track Rust.
Oh, okay.
And it's like that rusty iron color.
Yeah.
And in our area, in Northeast and what we're modeling, iron is in the ground everywhere, or most places. So I just go through and I lightly brush that track rust. It's an irony rust color into the rock. Right. And then after that is when I go in and I sprinkle some dirt on the top flatter sections, and then I put my scenery down and yada yada. But that track rust from AK is definitely a good color for what I think this area would show for like weathering and that dirt / iron, that iron oxidation look on some rocks.
Right. Oh yeah.
So, because this area, I mean, the Northeast is very, it is an iron industry at one time and steel. So you get a lot of that, like, even when you're...
Depends in Pennsylvania where you go. The rocks are all different.
Well, I mean,
you can mix it up in a lot of different ways.
Well, we're not doing Pennsylvania, but even in the Northeast in general, you have a lot of...
Right.
You have a lot of ore deposit.
Right, obviously, yes.
And
And limestone.
And
so
limestone.
You get a lot of... and you get a lot of the white stuff in there. With the
Yeah,
limestone,
you get a lot of white oxidation on those limestones.
Yeah.
It's it's just you see it when you're driving around this area, especially when you're driving up like Route 15 northbound along the Susquehanna River.
Yeah.
You see that, like, it's a mix though, because you see a lot of reds and browns, but then in between there you see a lot of that bright gray limestone rock face that has that white. It's like white chalky oxidation on it, which is, I'm guessing, the limestone oxidizing or whatever you call it.
Right.
So
when I went down south to this summer to West Virginia at Harper's Ferry and stayed down there for the
there
weekend.
is rock face galore down there.
Well, and that rock face, on a lot of that, it's got these big heavy streaks of black in it.
Wonder what that is.
It's very interesting. Yeah.
So when I was out in Utah, I learned something cool about geography and rock faces. You saw the pictures I shared from my run in Utah, right?
Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah.
When I was in Utah, everything out there is red. All the rocks are red. Everything's red, brown, reddish brown. But I was like, man, what are these big black streaks? And I learned that it is actually I'm gonna get this wrong, and I'm sorry. We talked to the one National Park Service guide out there when we were at Arches National Park, and he said that is I'm gonna get it wrong, and I apologize. It's not an algae, but like a fungus or an algae on the rock. I think it's a fungus on the rock that it grows on those rock faces, and you can actually tell the age of the exposed rock face by how black the surface of it is.
Oh, wow.
And I'm talking, it takes tens of thousands of years for it to even be black versus like a little black is a couple, 10, 20, 30,000 years.
Yeah.
And if
we're not going to ever notice it, right?
Yeah, in my lifetime, you won't notice a difference. But you
won't see a change.
It was really cool to hear about that. It's like I think it's a fungus that grows on those rocks, right? And where we actually saw it was there's a I gotta look it up while I'm talking about it. There's a rock down there. Hang on, I'm gonna look for it. Rock art. Rock art native. There's
rock art native?
I'm just doing a Google search to find the name of this thing. Petroglyphs. There's a petroglyph site down there near Moab, Utah, and this is really cool. It's called what the heck's the name of it? What is it called?
Well, I'm not sure.
Anyways, I'll get there. I'll circle back while I talk. The Native Americans back in that time, they painted all these paintings in these rocks like thousands of years ago. What?
No, these big long pauses. So I know. Well, imagine everybody sitting there listening is going, "Oh my God, Brett!"
I'm trying to figure out the name of this one. I can't find it. Either way, there's these old petroglyphs down there, and I think it's called Story Rock. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm getting it wrong. But here was the really cool part of it though. There was all of these petroglyphs on this rock where they etched away at the growth, like the fungal growth on the rock, and they look clear, like someone did them yesterday.
Yeah,
but they're like 5,000 or 6,000 years old.
Isn't that crazy?
They're old, and then you can see ones beneath it that have the algae growth or the fungal growth. On them, on top of it. So those are crazy. Those are like 6,000 to 10,000 years old. They're old.
Yeah.
And then what's even cooler is they call it graffiti, but it's not graffiti from like even the last 200. It's not even graffiti from the last 100 years. I'll say, it's graffiti from like the 1850s.
Wow.
Where people, English settlers were going out west, and they would find these old, at that time, 5,500 to 6, 7, 8,000 year old petroglyphs, and they would etch their initials or their family names over top of them.
Wow.
And those are 200, 150, 200 years old.
Yeah.
And those are like considered modern graffiti on these rocks. Long story short, it's cool to look at the geography in the region that you're modeling, because like the way that those rock faces would weather would be different. So our area, you get a lot of white limestone weathering, and you get a lot of rust or iron deposits in the rocks. But like you were saying, down in Harper's Ferry, you get a lot of that limestoney black rock face or dark gray rock face with big white or black streaks on it. But out west, it's red rocks with black streaks, and there were even some red rock faces with white deposits on them. So it's just cool. Like, and I think we talked about that with Steven. We've talked about that with Jason. We've talked about it with a few other people who model different regions of the country or the world, even that they while they're, I think Steven was the one that talked about this, while you're driving through the Midwest, like just looking at the geography around you and making sure that you're embodying that in what you build or make on your layout is huge.
There's people that go out and they travel different areas and they collect different dirts from different areas.
I have a rock
to use for modeling. I think Joey Ricard is one of those people.
Did I ever tell you about my rocks I have?
What? No. Maybe. I don't
know if I told you this. So I'll start with the most recent. When I was out in Utah, again, I'm doing a trail run, and when we got back to the campsite, so I did not take the rock from like anywhere sacred or special, but when we were back at the campsite, which is just like a modern day campground, they had all these red rocks laying all over the place. Like, we have crushed limestone roads.
Right.
They had crushed rock, but it was like red crushed rock for their gravel roads through the campsite.
That's so cool.
So I grabbed a couple of them while we were waiting outside the cabin before we were going on our run, and I put them in my carry-on bag. And
is that legal?
I was in a campsite on a crushed stone road.
Oh, well, I thought you were in national parks and stuff, so I didn't know if that was legal.
No. I grabbed one from the. No, it was.
What are you doing, Dad? You're gonna get me arrested.
No.
I know.
It was the campground had like a crushed gravel road, and they were red. It was like a reddish rock.
Yeah, because everything was like that
outside of our cabin. Right. So I picked a couple of those little rocks up and I brought them with me, and
cool.
And I'm gonna put them on somewhere within our layout just as like a token. But also, when I was in Alabama for my first 100-mile run, the town, did I tell you about the town of Sylacauga?
No.
All right, this is a neat fact. The town of Sylacauga, Alabama, most of their industry is, some of these towns in America have an industry that is solely based. What's that?
Got a problem.
What happened?
I'm out of beer.
Oh no. Well, can I continue my story?
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
It's a red alert.
Go ahead.
Red alert. Anyways,
Shinerbach tonight. But go ahead.
We had that down in Oklahoma.
I know, man. I like it. It's good. They're now selling it all over the place out here. So I picked it up. It's cheap too.
We have a friend from Texas.
It's about the same price as Yingling Lager, and I like it.
We have a friend that is from Texas that we used to reenact with, and he was obsessed with Yingling when he would come up here.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You can't get Yingling down where I live in Texas."
Well, now they can, I believe.
Well, they can now, but this was probably 9 years ago.
Right. Sure.
And we were like, Yingling? Like, why are you obsessed with Yingling? He's like, everyone in the country knows about Yingling, but you can't get it outside of your Northeast region.
Yeah.
So Shinerbach is the same way. He was saying down there, Shinerbach is the Yingling of that area.
Right.
But now you can get Shinerbach up here. So when we were down in Oklahoma, my dad and I had a couple beers at a little, it was like a little pizza joint, pizza burger.
Louis Bar and Grill.
On Campus Corner.
Yeah.
So we had a couple
on the
Shiner
board.
box, and they were good. So now you have them up here, you can get a couple of them.
Yeah.
But anyways, back on track.
Yeah. Oh, on that note, I was at Texas Roadhouse last week, right?
And they got Shiner
above
box.
my table, they have a wall sign,
No.
a beer sign that says Shiner. It doesn't say Shiner box, it's Shiner beer. It's on the wall above my booth, and I asked the waitress if they had Shiner, and she goes, "No, we don't handle Shiner." Okay. Well, you had 3 signs.
Why
in
do you
here
have
in
the Shiner
one
box?
room.
Why do you have the Shiner
Yeah,
sign?
signs say- yeah, what the hell? I mean, I guess because it's Texas Roadhouse. Whatever. I just thought it was, stupid.
Yeah, that's kind of
Anyways,
silly.
go on.
Anyways, yeah. So, Sylacauga, Alabama. All right.
Yeah.
Here's a cool story for everyone. So, a lot of small towns in the south, even up in our area. I mean, we have some other industries now, tech and healthcare and whatever in this area, but middle of the 20th century and early 20th century, our area was big on steel. And steel ran a lot of industries in the Northeast and the steel belt, whatever, rust belt, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
So down in Sylacauga, Alabama, the industry down there, I mean, that town is tiny. They have a mine, they have a strip mine down there where they can get this white marble, right?
Right.
It's white marble. And that marble, it's the same color marble that they use for a lot of the monuments that you see in DC or the national parks like Gettysburg or the battlefields where they put those big white monuments up.
Yeah.
And before they found it down in that region, you would have to get it from outside the area, outside the country. And do not quote me on this. I don't know where it came from outside of our country. I want to say it was in Northern Africa or like the Italy region. I forget. It's irrelevant. But they discovered this white marble vein down in Alabama. And the entire town of Sylacauga then became this source for a lot of the government buildings you see that are those big, bright white marble buildings.
Yeah.
So that ran that town for years, and they still use it. They still mine it down there. And when I ran my 100-mile race, in my goodie bag for my race was a little tiny Ziploc bag with a piece of marble from the marble mines that they use to make these Capitol buildings and monuments and stuff you see all over the country in these national parks and federal and state districts.
Yeah.
And they gave us a little piece of that white marble in a little Ziploc bag. It's probably 1 inch by 1 inch-ish stone. And I've saved it for years, and it's down here in my little shelf of drawers to use eventually somewhere on the layout. So I think it's cool to, like, if you travel and you can harvest or obtain some kind of piece of that area that you were visiting, to find a way to incorporate that in your layout, as long as you're following laws and you're not taking like rock from something sacred. It'd be cool to have a little piece of your travels with you on your layout. So long story short, I have a piece of marble from the same mines that supply white marble, pure white marble, to all these companies and state and federal agencies that build these magnificent monuments and buildings and whatever with that marble. So I've been saving it for a while. I don't know where to put it yet, but I'm gonna put it somewhere cool. And long story short, that's my story on rocks. So, but either way, it's cool when you travel to look at the geography. If you're in a place that's not protected, like I was in a campground and I picked up a piece of crushed, red gravel from just the earth that was there at a campground.
Right.
And it was not like a state park or a federal park. It's down there. It's like crushed limestone up here. So if you're able to find something cool that you can take, and even your boss, he gave us sand from Delaware, like
No, it wasn't. It was from the Outer Banks.
Outer Banks, whatever. But it's cool to like, pull scenery
That's
in
great.
from different areas. We have sand on our layout that's from North Carolina, South Carolina region. We have rocks that are from all over the country on our layout.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat if you can squeeze these little things in from places you've been, also in your layout.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
So that long story short, I made some rocks into a little gulley, and it looks cool and yada yada, and it was a part of the layout that we were struggling with, trying to find a way to make it work, and I ended up, surprise, ripping a section out and putting a bunch of cool rock face in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I got a grant while you were talking about rocks.
Yeah.
While you were talking about rocks, I was digging through my box. It's like a fishing tackle box with the separators in it and stuff.
Yeah.
And I keep all
like
of my
a Plano
prize
box.
Right, a Plano box. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15 different compartments in it.
Hey, that's another story about Plano.
It's filled what?
The Plano story.
Okay.
Adam,
I'm talking about that.
Adam grew up in Plano, Texas.
Oh, okay.
And you know what the main industry in Plano, Texas is?
No.
Plano tackle boxes.
Oh, is that right?
Did you know that?
Nope.
Yeah, so Plano tackle boxes are made in Plano, Texas, majority, I guess.
Right.
And that's like a company town there.
Huh. Well, anyhow.
Sorry.
So I'm digging through this box of all these unpainted prize, hundreds of them. Okay. Different people and such, prize or figures, and I bought them in packets. And I got some questions, just something that it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I'm noticing it is a pattern here with prize or figures, which I love because they're great detail. Okay. And when you buy these master packs and they mix them up with all different kinds of posing people, everybody seems to be holding something up in the air, like way high. Like, this one guy is holding his arm up in the air for no freaking reason, and in the other hand, he has suitcases. This other guy has a hammer, a sledgehammer, and he's holding it way... I can understand if he is hammering something, but he's holding it up above his head. Okay, which I don't see too many people swing hammers like that. I have another guy holding something that looks similar to a stick. It's not a rifle. And he's holding it way up high in the air. I have another guy has a pair of binoculars, and he's holding the binoculars above his head. Why aren't they up to your freaking eyeballs? These are weird things I'm noticing. It's like a pattern here that I'm watching. The police officer holding his baton above his shoulders. Why has everybody got to sit up so high?
I have a guy that I was working on that has a cane up in the air.
Oh, shovel. Here's a guy holding a shovel in the air. Wouldn't you be digging with it? I don't know. I mean, there are guys with shovels that are digging.
Maybe I've been watching too much Sopranos, but holding a shovel in the air or a hammer in the air or a blunt object in the air might be a mafia thing or a mob thing we could tie in.
Yeah, here's another guy with that's a shovel. But, okay, so anyhow...
While you're talking about that, hang on. Let me open my container and see if I have anyone holding anything while you talk.
We were talking about all the different European style figures in here, which is I'm fine with that. We can alter them and cut little things off and things like that, or sand it and try and get the clothing. I've done that. Scrape things off the edge of a knife, try and get so the police officers' jackets don't look like they're dresses. That's some of the European police officers I have here. And I don't know what kind of police officers they have over there.
Here's a guy holding a broom in the air.
Yeah. I go, a broom. Yeah, I have a broom in the air.
Pickaxe in the air. I have a pickaxe in the air.
They're not getting much work done. They're not getting much work done.
Pickaxe in the air. I
would have a problem as their supervisor.
Cane in the air.
The the other thing is, I noticed how many of these people are wearing lederhosen? What's that all about? Why do they have to have them wearing lederhosen? If you're gonna sell that shit in our country, in the United States, where we don't wear lederhosen,
make it the American version. Make it overalls.
Yeah, come on, and update some of these things.
I feel like overalls
Half
are the
these people look like they're fly fishing, but I'm not sure they're fly fishing. I don't know. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I feel like
it's like they be sitting out in the stream they're holding baskets in front of their waist, like they have a fanny pack or some shit. I don't understand it. I don't quite get this. I don't quite understand the selection on some of these. Some of these are going to be altered, to fit our needs.
Yeah,
but I mean, like the police officers that are wearing the freaking German pith helmets. Did you get some of them?
I have a couple of those.
What's with that, man? I can't do that. We're gonna put pictures of them up there. We're gonna get shut down by Facebook. I can't do that. I'm gonna have to trim their heads. They're gonna have to trim the helmets. Why do not all police officers wear freaking pith helmets? Why I have
a whole
I'm gonna paint them up like they're riot gear.
I have a whole thing. I have a whole thing here of
some of these people.
I have a whole sprue here that I never cut off from Prizer, and they're all wearing berets.
I have another group here. It's all Hollywood movie people, and it's like they're filming something. They have cameras and they have a camera stand and all kinds of other cool things that you would use on a movie set.
I have a mermaid.
Where does that fit in?
Where did I get a mermaid? Was that
Mermaid's
from Lynn?
Cool. Yeah, somebody sent us a mermaid.
I think Lynn sent us a mermaid.
That's awesome, by the way. Yeah, there are some cool ones in here. Don't get me wrong, and then some of these people look like Huckleberry Finn.
I'm pretty sure I have a bomber pilot. Like, I don't know what this is. Like, what?
Yeah.
Where do I get all these weird ones?
I got police officers carrying this really strange-looking tools and weapons. I don't know what they are.
Yeah, we got a bunch of odd ones.
And I
here.
guess some of these are supposed to be firemen, but I swear to God, they look like German soldiers.
I also have the
what do they have in the back of their necks?
I also have
we can make them stormtroopers.
I also have the must-have Prizer figurines that are nude, and they have all the the bush and the the whole deal there. So
they're already pre-painted though.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I didn't paint them, but they're painted.
And why do the women on these things look like they're all from the Wizard of Oz? They're like Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz in these dresses. Or they're.
Well, I mean, it's the 40s. It's a different time. They weren't wearing little pencil skirts.
I get that, and I'm okay with that to a degree. But
yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want some of the modern day attire on some of these ladies as we are.
But then they mix them in these packets, and they mix them with a lady wearing blue jeans and a halter top.
Well, I
don't get it.
She's an industrial woman.
I guess.
Yeah. Well, more of a down home.
We're gonna have fun with that.
Yeah.
We're gonna have fun with that. We may be putting these into special bags and doing them as giveaways.
Hey, you know what? I don't understand.
Can't do them.
I mean, I know why.
Send them to our listeners.
I understand. I understand why, but
why?
Why? Are you kidding me? Do you know who just won Best Punter of the Year? Guess the school the punter was from.
And he wasn't from Oklahoma.
No.
Of course not. And he was the best punter. But who? I don't know. I don't know punters.
I don't know the guy's name. He's already off the screen. That's how irrelevant it was.
Then I don't give a shit.
The guy from Rutgers.
Oh.
The punter from Rutgers. I don't know. It's
Rutgers?
Weird. Yeah.
Huh.
Hey, whatever.
They got to get something. They suck at everything else.
Good for him. They're good at rowing, I think.
We're speaking of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So anyhow, give him a punter for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Anyways, Prizer makes I'm gonna regret saying this. Prizer makes all the nude ladies. But how comes you never see I'm gonna hate myself for saying this. Why don't Prizer make nude dudes? And I'm not even looking for nude. No, but hear me out. Wait. Hang on. It just hit. It was a thought that came into my brain.
My
but why are they not, like, if there's a nude beach, you can't tell me there ain't a dude or two hanging around. And
yeah, man.
like, where's the respect for the guys?
I see where you're going there.
Like,
I see where you're going there.
The equity of
you might as well make them endowed.
The equity of nude Prizer women compared to nude Prizer men it's just not there.
Yeah, I don't get that. That doesn't make sense to me. That's pretty sexist. That's pretty sexist.
It's just, I don't know why. I was looking at I'm looking at my Prizer figures, and I saw it, and I'm like, although I painted a guy one time.
The guy from the balcony? He's peeing off the edge of the balcony. And you gave him this junk? Oh my god.
He was holding a jackhammer. and
we had a lot of beers that weekend.
I don't even know why I thought it was a good idea, but I
I'm down there working. He goes, "Hey, Dad, come down, check him out." He was at one end of the layout. I was at the other. I come down. I'm like, "Oh my god!"
It would happen. He's at a bar. There's a balcony on the bar, and guys got to go. So,
my god, I got tears in my eyes. I forgot about that. Is he still on there?
Yeah, he's still hanging off the back of the bar. Oh man! My God. I mean, I'd cut the jackhammer shorter. It's not a full size jackhammer, but
no, God, that would be like, that would be too bad. That would be horrible.
No, but, yeah, that's not good. That's not good.
No,
that's like something you find on a bad internet search. So, anyways.
Oh my god.
Oh boy. Well, that took a turn for the worse.
Yep.
So, anyways. Oh man.
Well,
how do we end on that?
I'm about out of material.
How do I finish? How do I top that? I don't.
Don't, man. That's about it, man. That's a good way to go on the holiday season.
Yeah, happy holidays, everyone.
Yeah.
Ho ho ho.
I did have an incident with my.
Oh, you said you had a gripe.
I did. I just told you it was a surprise.
Oh yeah.
But it was funny more than anything else. Just an observance.
Look where it led us.
Right. It was an observance, and then of course So I was working with the static grass applicator the other week.
Oh yeah, talk about that.
And I went to turn it on, and this was the Grassmaster. You pay $150 for. And the Knock Grassmaster. And Nook or Knock or whatever they call it. And anyhow, I went and had lunch, came back and turned it back on, and no red light on it. I'm like, uh-oh. So
maybe the battery was dead.
Right. So I went to pop the battery out. I unscrewed the back and I took the battery out. And there's a red wire hanging off the battery. I ain't no electrician. Okay? So
you are an electrician.
It's not connected to the battery terminal thing that hooks up to the battery.
You just said hang on.
It's a 9-volt battery.
Hang on. You just said double negative. I ain't no.
Right.
Which means you are.
I ain't no electrician. So yeah, okay. So the red wire coming off of the 9-volt battery connector thing that you put on top of the 9-volt battery, it had disconnected from whatever it was. It disconnected from the board that it attaches to inside the static grass applicator. So I take the screw out and I pull out the card. thinking. I slide the card back, and I take the screw out and slide the card back to check out to see where it might go. Well, I had no clue where this fits. I have no clue on this board with all these. I don't even know what those things are. They're stuck all over the board. But there's a hell of a lot of them because when I had this repaired, I was told this. The transistors they had all over the top of it, right?
Yeah.
And I guess that's what they're called. And then they had the thing wrapped in some kind of a cellophane to keep that all tight and protected, which is great, right? And as I pulled it back, there's another wire loose. I don't know how the hell this happened. I guess from when you shake the shit out of this after so much time, it just all came loose. On the end of that board, on the opposite end of that board, towards the cup end or the hopper end where you put the static grass, there's another loose black wire that I don't even know where the hell that goes to near the hopper. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So now I'm lost, right? So I called you or talked to you about it, and you suggested I take it to work for our technicians at work. And I won't get into where I work or what they do. But these guys are
good electronics.
Absolute, probably some of the better ones in the world. And I took it to them, and they're geeky guys. They're not geeky guys. They're great guys. They're into that. You know, that's what they do. And
they got excited when they were like, "Oh yeah, I want to look at that. I want to look at that static grass applicator."
They didn't know what a static grass applicator was. I had to show them a freaking YouTube video how it worked. They've never seen anything like that. They go, what the hell would you even use that shit for? Is what they said to me, right? So I said, no. I ended up having to show my models and my dioramas, and then of course other things that we've done static grass on. And they were like, "Oh, that's really cool, right?"
Yeah.
They said, "What do you pay for this thing?" I said, "We paid about $150." And they go, you could make one of those things at Harbor Freight
out of some scrap
for like $6. and they were not kidding, you know. And he said, "We might be able to make it right here at work for you, a brand new one." And I was like, "No." I said, no, right? So, anyways, I said, "Can you fix this?" Well, yeah. And they immediately they ran over to this electronic board where they do a work table.
Yeah.
And they tethered themselves down with it because they tether themselves.
Yeah, they're grounding themselves.
They're grounding themselves, yeah. And they
because God forbid they had to ground themselves. God forbid they got to ground themselves with a 9-volt battery. I lick those things.
Well, so anyways,
you ever lick a 9-volt?
Yes, I've done that.
Right.
I'm ashamed to say I've done it. I'm guessing that most of our listeners out there, at some point from their childhood forward, they have tried that as well. Okay, so, anyways, I give it to these guys, and they had this whole thing. They soldered it and had it all fixed and everything. They figured out where each wire went. They were like hooking their meters up to it and shit all over the thing, trying to figure this out and figure that out. And they were like debating why they would have put this little thing on the board and that little thing on the board, and that was a total waste. Why did they do that? But it was funny to listen to them, right? And they go, "We could make one that would be 1,000,000 times better than this." And I'm like, "Oh my God!" They said it would be great. It would you could probably do your whole thing in about 3 seconds.
My house is glowing and everyone's hair stands up.
These guys were like really.
It'll be like the Christmas it'll be like Christmas Vacation when Clark Griswold turns the lights on and the whole city turns dark.
Yeah. So anyways, they got it all hooked up for me. They fixed all the wires in it, and they soldered them. And I said, "Oh, okay, well, that's great." They're awesome at that. And then they said, "With this solder, I don't care what you do this. You could probably beat this thing on the side of the table." He said, "This solder is never coming off, ever." And I was like, "Oh, that's great, So they went so far as that they fixed it. And then they said, "Well, we got to test it. Do you have any of that grass stuff with you?" I said, "No." And they said, "Well, then reach down in the cup and touch that little button at the bottom, that little metal thing sticking up at the bottom," which wasn't sticking up at the bottom in there before, by the way. So when you get it, warn yourself. When you reach in there, make sure it's turned off before you reach in there and touch it.
I've done that with a 9-volt. I'm afraid now.
Okay. So they said, reach down there and touch that thing. Well, I'm the dumbass. I reached down there and touched it with my finger, and it jolted me, and they're all fucking laughing, right? Oh, I swore again. So, but they're all laughing at me because I did that. But it worked. Great, Then they put in the battery compartment so it doesn't rattle around. And remember when we shook it, it rattled like crazy?
Yeah.
It will not rattle again. They put foam in there, this thick, like, dense foam to put in there. It's like what kind of foam that would be?
Like a high, it's not like a styrofoam.
Dual density foam they put down inside to keep it from even moving. And you can slide the battery out easily, but it won't move around in there. And then they put one on the back end of it, on the round cap that fits over the back like a flashlight. They put a piece of foam in there with two-sided tape, real strong two-sided tape, and then put another piece of that foam in there that goes up against the top of the battery so it doesn't bounce back and forth that way either. It's amazing. So it's in real good shape. Now, the cup, they had to remove the cup to put it on, and we tried to silicone. They put silicone around the edge of the cup and then, to let it dry and see if that would, seal it like a rubber seal.
Right.
Because it looked like that was there before. Well, it doesn't really do that too well. So what he did, it holds it tight. It holds it to a degree, but you could pull it out a little bit. So they recommended they took electrical tape and they wrapped a couple wraps of electrical tape around where the cup connects just to be sure. And it's not coming off. It does not move, spin, turn, nothing. It's good. So
nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be. You'll like it when you use it. So it's and they put a new grounding wire. The grounding wire was just kind of like a wire with frayed edges. It was underneath that screw that holds the board into the inside of it.
Yeah.
And the grounding wire was connected to that screw that goes to the board from the outside. It has an alligator clip on the one end,
Yeah.
Well, they took that wire, stripped it, put a round connector. I don't know what they're called. Connector thing on it, so you put it under the screw, and then the screw goes in through the hole and then down into the unit, and it holds. He said that's not coming off either. So
awesome.
They fixed it all up for me. Then they got this brilliant idea that they couldn't believe that Knock charges $150 for them things, and so they were all in there devising ways they could make them themselves and sell them online.
Oh boy!
Look
what you've done.
Versions of them. Oh my God! They said, I can't believe they're getting $150 for this. He said, we can make them for $6 and sell them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, really? Yeah. So, and they were half serious about that, because I ran into them a day or two later, and they came in to my office, and they're like, you really? And it must still be on their mind, because they were like, you really can get them? You bought that thing for $150? I said, yeah. And they were looking at each other and they're like, that's crazy. We got to do something. So I don't know what's going on there.
Maybe we've kickstarted a entirely new
business.
Who knows? That's not
North American. There needs to be a North American company that makes them things, because all the ones that are made around here seem to be made or sold around here seem to be made in Europe.
Yeah, now I mean, don't get me wrong. The cost of materials is one thing, but you also have to factor in the time and you have to find a suitable housing for them and everything else.
Right, yeah, I get that. I understand that.
So I mean, if I made one at Harbor Freight materials, obviously it would cost me.
I don't think they were looking to buy and make them out of Harbor Freight. They were just saying at the beginning.
No.
You can make this out of Harbor Freight stuff.
I'm just using it as an example. If I went to Lowe's and I found a suitable amount of things to make, I would also then, if I was going to sell it privately, I would make, my own custom handle and a custom housing for the static grass and everything else. Like, there's things that go into it as far as manufacturing that would increase the cost.
Right.
But there's a difference between a prototype and like a sellable retail product.
Well, without a doubt. Those guys in particular are very well aware of that.
Honestly, I could probably dissect it on my own and make one out of some metal pipe and PVC.
Right.
But would I want to sell that online? No, I'd be embarrassed because it looked like I did it in my little basement here.
No, and I'm sure they're aware of that, and they're thinking that same thing. You know, they know that.
And that's with any product. When you start to dissect what goes into it, you're like, oh, that's really not that much. But then you got to look at all the time and effort involved in something like that.
Well, I don't think putting it together and shit wouldn't be that time.
The first one
did that was done in like 5 or 8 minutes. They were done.
The first one we made.
3 guys on.
The first one that we bought, not made. The first one we bought was basically one of those electric fly swatters with a strainer basket on the end that you'd buy.
I bought that from some guy here in the United States, some kind of USA Flock or something like that.
Yeah, he just made
USA Flock or something like that.
He bought one of those electronic.
It works. I used it in the meanwhile while we were waiting to get that fixed.
Thank God we had that as a backup because it saved you.
Yeah, it saved me a couple of days' work because I didn't get that to them until a couple of days later.
I will say,
in the meantime.
That one's not as strong, and it's not as.
It's not. The grass lays down a little more with that.
The quality of the grass when it is put down on the
right
on the layout is not as nice.
You don't get the same. You don't get the same stand up on it. No.
But I mean, it's also made out of a fly swatter.
Yeah, and a freaking strainer. You know.
Right.
It's an electric fly swatter and a strainer.
Yeah,
that's basically what it is. It says it. Where the hell is that son of a bitch? I got it right here. Let me make sure I don't shot myself on. On the side of it, it says mosquito trap. Did you ever notice that?
Yeah, I saw it.
It says mosquito trap.
Yeah, it's one of them fly swatters you buy at the Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, exactly.
That you can either hit bugs with or you can zap your family members with it when they're not expecting.
I got a neighbor that did that.
What?
So,
whoa. What? Wait, no, you can't leave that out there. What happened?
We won't say. Yeah, no, you know about the neighbor that used the electric fly swatter on their child and got arrested.
Never mind. I already know.
So, yeah.
It's not funny. Yeah. It's not funny.
They got arrested. They got arrested by rights. They got arrested. Thank God they got arrested. So, anyhow, enough of that story.
But they didn't get arrested for that.
Well, yes, they did.
Well, no, but they got arrested after that for something else. For something else.
Oh, yeah, that was a different story. That's a whole different story. They're gone. That guy's gone. Thank God. He's out. He doesn't live here anymore in this neighborhood. But yeah.
That was an episode.
So we're not going there with any of that.
I'll say. All I'll say about that is that was an episode of Cops waiting to happen.
Yes. Oh yeah. Anyhow, everybody's got one of those goofy, fucked up neighbors in their neighborhood.
Man, so that is 3 F-bombs for you today.
Yeah, well, we get over it. It's holidays.
So, hey, when it's the season. I'll tell you one funny story about neighbors. Whenever I got home tonight, I'm walking up my steps to my front door. And I don't know why I looked over there, but off to the right-hand side of my house, when you're walking in the front door, is like a patch of woods. And I'm like, what is that? There's an orange light over there. Like, what the heck's that orange light? And I stopped, and I'm looking over there for a while, and it's like flickering, like a fire. And I was like, what the hell is going on over there? It's just so the farmer, our house, our property, two borders of my well, actually 3 borders of my property are surrounded by a farmer.
Yeah.
And the 2 of them are farm fields. It's like pastures. The other side, the third side, is like a brushy patch. You know what I'm talking about? Across the street.
Yeah, I know where you live.
And I look over there. I'm like, that looks like that looks like a fire.
Oh wow!
So that's weird, but it wasn't big. It was like a campfire size, like a small campfire. And I'm like, that's strange.
Is this down near where the beehives used to be?
More up towards. Remember where my mailbox used to be?
Okay, up that way.
Before I moved it down at my driveway entrance, we had that shared mailbox.
Okay, gotcha. I know what you mean.
So it was up like near there, like up. There's a little hill, and it was right there.
Okay.
And I was like, what is that? Is there a fire in there? Like, what is going on? And it's like, it's dark. Like, there's no reason to have a fire in there right now. So I'm standing on my front porch, like, looking at it for like 10 minutes, trying to figure out what's going on. And I I got to the point where I'm like yelling. I walked down to the edge of my property and I'm like, hey, I'm yelling into the woods. Hey, thinking there's someone down there. And I'm like, well, I'm not just going to walk into his property because he's got hunters in there. He's got people in there. You know, it's a shared access. So he owns it, but he gives rights to other people to go in there.
Right.
So
I get shot.
Yeah, exactly. So I walk back up. I walk back down in the driveway, get in the car, and I drive up to my neighbor's, who's a farmer, and he's outside doing whatever, getting feed for his cattle.
Yeah, doing whatever farmers do.
Well, he was pulling huge feed bags out, and I was like, "Hey, man, there's a fire in your brush
Field.
over there, not in the field, in that brushy marsh area."
Okay, I got you.
I was like, "There's a fire over there," and he's like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Yeah."
This is your Amish neighbor.
Yeah. So he's like, "Oh, really?" So, anyways, he's like, "Well, I didn't let anyone in there today." So I was like, "Well, hey, if you don't mind, I'm gonna walk in with my headlamp, and I'm just gonna go check it out, see what's going on." I was like, I said the only reason I came up here is I'd hate for there to be a brush fire because something happened, you know, someone flicks a cigarette butt or something in there and starts a brush fire. So he's like, "Yeah, man, go ahead in there." He's like, "If it's anything weird that like this is going on, let me know. I'll come down and I'll deal with it with you." So I start walking in, and first of all, now I'm on edge because I'm like, maybe there's like someone camping in this brushy area that's not supposed to be back there, like a homeless person or whatever, some vagrants. Sure. And I'm like, what's going on? So I creep back in there without my headlamp. I'm focusing on that light that
with your neighbor.
No, by myself.
Oh.
He didn't want anything to do with it unless it looked suspicious. Which, if there's a fire in there, it should be suspicious anyways.
That's pretty suspicious to me on my property.
I know. So he was like, "Oh, check it out. And if it's weird, let me know." And I'm like, "All right, whatever. I'll go. I'll go look." So I'm like, it's across the street from my house, so I'm gonna go check it out.
Right.
So sure. I'm walking back. They have a little trail cut in there, and his kids use it. So I'm walking back the trail real gingerly. I left my headlamp off so that way no one could, like, if there was someone back there, they wouldn't see me. I was
level off on you.
And it rained yesterday, and today a little bit. So I can creep back through those leaves without making any noise.
Okay.
So I'm creeping back there, and the tension's building because, like, I can, when you can hear your heartbeat because you're, like, anxious.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'm going to walk up on, and I'm like, oh, man, what's going on? Like, I got to deal with it because my kids are coming home soon, my wife's coming home soon. I don't want them dealing with if there's someone back here. So I'm walking back, and then I see it. I'm like, that looks like a fire. It's a fire. So I just, in the dark, my headlamp's not on yet. In the dark, I went, hey. And I'm like yelling back in towards it. Hey, what's going on back there? No answer. And I'm like, maybe it's like a homeless person camped up in there. So I keep walking slowly towards it, and I get closer. I see it. I'm like, it's definitely looking like a fire. Like a little mini campfire, like big enough for them to keep warm, but not big enough to be noticed very well.
Okay.
So I'm creeping back, and and then I see there's no one around. Like, I can tell there's no one around because I stood still for like a minute or two. I didn't see anything moving. I didn't hear anything moving. And so I pop my headlamp on and I shine it right at what would be that area. And I'm like, okay, well, there's no one around here. And I creep towards it closer and closer. And here, you know what it is? His kids must have snuck back there. And you know those, like, solar lamps that look like a... remember that lamp I had in my lamp post last Christmas that looked like a flame?
Yeah.
It's a solar stick-in-the-ground lamp that looks like one of those flames. It's like
what the hell do they stick it back here for?
His kids have like a little like hangout area that they built, like a fort back there.
Yeah.
And they must have somehow they obtained one of these solar.
They stole it from their parents out of their yard.
There's none of them up in their yard. I don't know where they got it, but they stuck one of these solar firelights in the ground.
Are these the Amish kids?
Yeah.
Are the Amish kids?
Mennonite, but they're pretty much Amish.
Okay, Mennonite. Okay.
And they stuck one in the ground in their little fort, and I'm like, what? Jesus, it's this little, there's like a bunch of flowers around it, like fake flowers, and a welcome sign, and it's like hand paint. You can tell they hand painted it, and like it's really cute looking because he's got like 12 girls. So it must be like their little hangout.
house.
But it's our fort. And I'm like, son of a gun. I got all freaked out walking back here. I went up and disturbed a neighbor from his feeding his cattle, thinking there's a fire down here. And I got all worked up thinking there's like a vagrant living across the street from my house. And it's these girls' fort. There's a little fire across the street.
It charged from the sun and did that. They didn't even plan it that way. It's not like they left the light on.
Right,
on purpose,
exactly.
Right?
And I'm like, and I'm freaked out thinking I'm going to have to deal with someone living across the street in the woods from my house. And I'm thinking, if I see anything moving, I'm gonna sprint out of these woods like a madman. And then here it's this little girl's fort back there.
Oh my god! That's so funny.
Anyways, that was the story of the evening. That was like a half an hour before we got on the podcast tonight.
Oh my god!
So I just had
that's some funny stuff.
I don't know how we even got on that topic, but your neighbors. Yeah. Anyways, so that was my fright of the night before I got on the show tonight.
My ex-neighbor.
Your ex-neighbor, right. Yeah. But either way, it was funny because now I built myself up this whole evening about like, oh man, if I got to deal with someone living in the woods 50 yards from my house, I'm going to be in some trouble.
Oh, that's funny.
And then I'm thinking, here, I'm by myself because the girls are at gymnastics. And I'm like, what if something happens to me in the brush? Because there's a dude chilling in the woods over here. Like, who knows? And I'm walking in like, you got to deal with that.
Yeah.
Like if something's happening there, you got to go deal with it, especially that close to your house.
Yeah, absolutely.
And state cops aren't coming in for another 45 minutes to my place.
They're not going to be. It's going to be a while. Yeah.
Anyways, I just thought that was my funny fright of the night. So
that's some funny stuff.
It's funnier because I was walking through the woods all like skeptical, and then in the dark I'm yelling.
You were thinking. You were wondering if you had to run back to your house to get a gun.
I was ready to sprint out of there like my life was on the line, and I'm here I'm in the woods across the street from my house, and there's no one around me, and I'm yelling, "Hey!" off into the distance, like "Hey! Hey!" like if there's someone over there, and here it's just me yelling at myself in the woods. So hopefully my neighbor has a trail cam up in there and he caught it. That'd be the funnier part. So.
Oh yeah.
Anyways,
that's a funny story.
Yeah, that was hey, you never know what you're going to run into living out in the middle of nowhere. That's the moral of the story. So, anyways.
Well, I think that's about a wrap for us, man.
Yeah, I think that's good. So, you know what? I got one more story about living rural.
Okay.
You want to hear it?
Sure.
I think I told you around Thanksgiving. Did I tell you about the car break-in? And then there was like a bunch of cops out nearby my house.
No.
So like 2 nights or so before Thanksgiving, we got home. I forget where we went that night. We went out to eat with the girls, and I think we took them to Red Robin. You know what? It was Audrey's birthday. And we took her to Build-A-Bear and Red Robin, and we did she could choose what she did for the night. Yada, yada.
I remember when you took them there,
Yeah. We got home that night, and around, I don't know, it was probably 9 o'clock or so, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
We get a text from our neighbor up the street. Kristen got a text. She went to school with this girl, lives up the street from us, and she goes, "Hey, just a heads up, someone broke into my car and tried to steal it. And then we threw the lights on and they ran off. Just letting you know there's someone like running around in the area, like breaking in the cars."
Right.
And I was like, okay. Like that's not normal for our area.
No, definitely not.
Especially with the gun population in our area. So I'm like, all right, well,
Probably not a bright move.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I said, you know what, Kristen, I don't normally do this, but I'm going to go unlock my one hunting rifle. I'm going to go unlock it. I'm not going to, like, there's not going to be anything in the chamber, but I'm going to have it ready. Because you never know. Like, that's some weird stuff around our area. That's
right.
Not common. So, and it was two houses down from us. So I'm like, I'm just going to be safe. So I put it in an area that's safe from the house. No, the girls aren't going to get at it. I was responsible.
Yeah.
So anyways, after I did that, Kristen goes, "You know what? I think I left my purse in the car, in the Jeep."
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, was it locked? She goes, well, no, I don't ever lock it. I'm like, well,
Really?
why would you leave your purse in the Jeep?
Even out there, I would definitely lock.
I know, and she doesn't. Anyways, I had a whole talk. She locks it now. But anyways, so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go out and make sure it's locked. So I'm like creeping down the steps, and as I'm creeping down the steps, 4 state troopers and an ambulance drove by my house, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I'm like, out there in the dark. There's, it's a very rural area, and the cops are never there. And on a coincidental night like that, I'm like, oh great, something's going down.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I go out. I can't find her. First of all, I can't find her Jeep key. And I'm like, I go out there. Her car's unlocked. I'm like, where's your Jeep key? Well, I don't know. I took it off my key ring so I could do whatever she was doing. That was whatever she had to take it off for. And I'm like, okay, well, there's another problem. There's a guy walking around breaking into cars, and your Jeep key's missing. So, like, what the hell is going on? Now I got to find this Jeep key in the dark, in her Jeep, in the middle of my driveway, in the dark, when there's a guy out there breaking into cars. And then while I'm looking in there, 2 more ambulances drive by. Another state trooper must have been driven down my road about 80 miles an hour. And I'm like, they're 3 houses down from me.
Right.
So, long story short, apparently that guy had ran to another house and broken in either the house or the car or whatever, and he found out to not do that in my area and caught whatever short end of whatever you call it, instant karma from breaking into houses or cars in a rural area.
Did he get shot?
Listen, I don't know what happened. I could not find a police report, but like 20 minutes after that girl texted us, there was 3 ambulances and like 6 state troopers, and they had every spotlight on that house. And I'm out there in my driveway in my gym shorts and basically my pajamas, digging around in her car looking for her stuff because I don't want them to break into this car while that's happening. And apparently that all happened. That must have all went down in the time I was out there digging around in her car, in an unlocked car with a purse in it. And like they were there for like 3 hours. I don't know what happened. They had every light on that place was lit up like Times Square on New York on New Year's Eve. I mean. Yeah. It was oh my God. Something went down, and I'm out there in my gym shorts and my undershirt.
It's like Christmas Vacation when all the cops came. Yeah, and they were in the front yard. Right? Yeah.
It was exactly like that. 3 houses down from me.
Oh my God, that's some crazy shit.
So that's like a once in a 10-year thing out in my way, but to be out there in just like your gym shorts and a undershirt while that's all blown by your house is kind of like surreal.
So, yeah, without doubt.
Anyways, that was my funny once in a decade excitement here. I've been here for 10 years, and that was the most exciting thing that ever happened in my neighborhood.
Oh boy!
So,
all right. Well, we're gonna wrap up this episode.
Sorry for the crazy ramblings at the end.
We got Christmas coming, so we may try and do something before the holiday.
Oh, we got time.
One last time. And if we can, if I can arrange it with the one guest, I will.
Well, hey, actually, you know what?
If not, what we'll do is,
What's 14 plus 8? 2020. It's 22.
2, yeah.
22.
So we could do it.
We'll definitely
give them a Christmas special.
We'll definitely get a Christmas special in here.
Let's do a Christmas special. We'll bring food for ourselves.
Ooh, you don't want to hear me eat. It'll be like
beers and stuff.
You ever seen those ASMR videos where people are on the microphones like making...
well, we don't have to do it like that.
No, let's do it. Let's eat right in the microphone.
If I pull my head away a foot or two, okay, I can eat and you'll never hear it. You know?
Yeah.
So, but. Yeah, let's do something.
We'll do a Christmas special. I'll eat my favorite. Yeah. I'll eat my favorite ring bologna with the cheese that's stuck in the middle of it.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah. But
I'll I don't know. I'll have to eat it in spirit with you because I don't have any of that.
Well, you can get your own.
But I don't know where you buy it.
Get it at a Weiss store.
Oh, okay.
Or the Giant.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that.
Anyways.
I don't see Giant. Giant doesn't have ring bologna with cheese in it.
You know what I'm talking about. It's the bologna, and it's got the orange cheddar cheese stuffed in it.
Oh, yeah. The straight one. That's the Weavers.
Not
Weavers.
ring bologna.
Gotcha.
It's the Weavers. It's a straight, like
the
bologna log.
Right. Gotcha.
It's good. It's like a smoked bologna with cheese in it.
Right.
It's
sure.
awesome. Anyways.
That.
Yeah. So let's do we'll definitely do a Christmas episode. Actually, I got that. Remember that Lionel train I was telling you about that I got from our friends that moved to Virginia?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
My goal here, now we got the Christmas tree up, is to set it up under the tree because it's a traditional, like old school. It must be 40 years old. 40 years old. I'm gonna put it up under the tree and do a little Lionel tree underneath, a little Lionel train underneath the tree. So
40 years old isn't that old? I was 16, 18.
Okay, well, I don't mean like it's 40 years young. I'm sorry.
Okay, gotcha.
But I meant like it's more of a. It's not like the. Have you seen those Lionel trains that they sell in the store now?
Yeah.
Like you see them at Walmart or whatever. They're cheap shit. Like
yeah, they are.
I'm not that Lionel is cheap now, but I feel like there's two lines of Lionel. There's like the retail Lionel that are kind of chintzy, and then there's a traditional Lionel which are still good. Like there's still the metal bodies and whatever.
Yeah.
But like this is not that. This is when Lionel would sell like the 8-car set with an engine or a 6-car set with an engine and like an oval track and the old school transistor that you would use to control the speed and you're not sure if you're going to get electrocuted or not. It's that one. It's a 3-rail track.
Well, make sure it's electrically safe.
Oh yeah, no, I'll be fine. And you know what? If it isn't, my kids and my dog will learn the hard way. So, no. But it's the kind where you drop the steam in it, and I have the. They gave me extra. Cool. They gave me extra steam for it. It came with it, so I'm gonna set that up underneath the tree. And the girl.
You can make steam with water.
Yeah, I know, but this one came with it.
I didn't know what steam was. I didn't know you can make steam.
You know what it is?
Hey, they gave me steam.
It's water in a steam container.
I know what it is. I'm teasing.
But either way. Okay. It's a cool little setup. I'm definitely gonna put it underneath the tree. The girls will get a kick out of it. So, anyways, all right. I think that's a wrap for the night. That went longer than I expected it to. So,
yeah.
And I think we definitely, did not come in with a porpoise for this episode, but we definitely ended. Dude, that might have been the highlight. That might have been the best non-railroading segment of the year.
Yeah, that was funny.
So, all right, man. Let's wrap this one up. Man. We will see you guys in a couple weeks, and if we don't hear from you before then, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. But I'm sure you'll hear from us before that.
We'll do one. Yep.
All right. Later.
Peace.